Now let's talk about really why you're here and what drew you into this presentation. I'm going to go through a number of different behaviors and things that often come up for my readers. And I want you just to type yes in the comment box if any of these sound familiar or if you are working with kids who are presenting with any of these things. So obviously this is a big one, attention issues. So maybe you notice that some kids hyper-focus on certain interests. Maybe they have the opposite at other points in time where they show inattentive behaviors. They're not on task. They're off task when they're supposed to be doing their work. Additionally, you might be working with kids who have some learning differences and need some additional supports. So you're finding that across areas, they're having difficulty problem solving or inferencing. This could be during reading comprehension, or it could be during just day-to-day tasks, like getting their things together, or even just figuring out how to navigate different situations during the day. Maybe they seem like they don't learn from past mistakes. So they do one thing one day, you have a talk with them, and then the next day you find that they're repeating the same behavior that you just discussed with them. Overall, they have poor generalization. So they might learn one skill in one setting or appear to have learned it or appear to at least understand what you're saying, but they're not generalizing to other situations. On top of that, you may have students who are showing different behaviors. Maybe they're getting referred to you for behavior problems, or they have some kind of behavioral intervention plan. You find that the emotional reactions that they're showing don't seem to fit the situation. So maybe they get more upset than you'd expect based on this scenario. And you may see that they have anxiety about new situations. They tend to avoid things, refuse things, or they show behaviors that most people would describe as defiant behaviors. So maybe in their classroom, they are trying to avoid work that they have to do and they try to get out of it. Maybe parents in the home setting are saying that they're refusing to do homework, chores, those kinds of things. Additionally, maybe you're seeing some things, time management or being organized. So you have those students who miss assignments and deadlines or lose track of their things. This could be school things. This could be other belongings in their day-to-day lives. Maybe parents are reporting that they're kind of leaving things all over the house and they never know where their sports equipment are and things like that. They seem to have a poor sense of time and poor time management, whether it means that they take longer than expected to do things that you don't think should take them that long, or they have a difficult time estimating how long things will take. So as a result, they may get very nervous about things when they're just a really simple thing that they need to do, or they might wait till the very last minute and not get things done on time. Maybe even during activities, they seem to be unaware of time and unable to adjust to make sure that they get things done on time or to make sure that they're on track. And then in our final cluster of skills, you may have students that are showing issues in what we would typically consider social skills. So maybe when their peers are having a conversation, they're not participating. Maybe they're sitting off by themselves. Maybe they're, playing on their phone or doing something on their own. Or maybe they're doing the opposite and they're blurting things out when most people know that it's not the time to be talking. This could be during class or it could be during unstructured conversations. Maybe their responses appear to be off topic and not related to the conversation that's going on. Or maybe they're making comments about things that people were talking about 5 minutes ago and they're not fully following the conversation. Or maybe they're dominating the conversation or doing what's often referred to as info dumping, where they're talking about a topic that they're really interested in and they're just talking and not really paying attention to whether their conversation partner seems interested. And maybe they're not engaging in that back and forth where they're making comments and asking questions. They're just kind of sharing a lot of information. Maybe you're seeing that they have difficult time interpreting situations or others' actions or intentions. And they also may have difficulty interpreting how they're coming across to others. So maybe they're getting very upset in certain social situations, and it's causing them issues with maintaining friendships or even engaging with different authority figures in their lives, like coaches, teachers, parents, siblings. So let me know in the chat, does this sound familiar? Are you working with kids who are showing some of these things, or maybe you have one child who is doing all of these things. So I wanted to clarify that those behaviors that I just mentioned do not mean that someone is lazy, that someone is unintelligent, even if they might be struggling with certain academic areas that we typically assume to be related to intelligence. It also does not mean that they're incapable of improving in those areas, even though some of those things that I mentioned seem to come naturally to some people and seem to be things that most people learn intuitively. Just because they may be struggling to form friendships and relationships does not mean that they are unconcerned about friendships, that they don't want them, or that they lack empathy, even though the way that they are responding and interacting with others may seem like they aren't really concerned about others' feelings. So I wanted to clarify all of those things before we move on, because they are frequently misinterpreted. If you have kids who are experiencing those things, there is a good chance that they are experiencing executive functioning challenges.